Yeah, hi everyone. So today in this session, we are going to discuss about the SAP master data in M. Okay, so I think till enterprise structure, I think we have completed in the previous session, right? So the base foundation of MM. So we just defined and we have assigned the elements and just made that structure and everything is fine now. That is a prerequisite for all these things. And before we get into any particular process or master data, so that enterprise structure is a prerequisite. Okay, that is done. So now in terms of master data, so we have four master data here. So most critical and most important master data here, because in SAP, so commonly we can able to say that so to run a show, so we need a masters. So that is what is all about SAP. Any particular module, if you want to run the complete show, means a complete business process, you need the master data as a backbone. So master data will be the backbone of any particular business process. So we have a business process, of course we are going to see that. So we have a target as P2P cycle. So procurement to payment cycle. So that is a cycle what we are going to have here. So if you want to have a full-fledged procurement to pay cycle without any so barriers, so this master data is going to help us. Almost 50 to 60% of data will be transferred from this master data to the P2P cycle. So what we are going to have in this session is, in this master data series, we are going to see four master data here. So starting with the metal master. So we have a metal master here. So we have a business partner, we have an info record, and we have a source list. Four master data we have here. So we are going to see individually about this master data, and also we are going to cover both the front end and the back end. So why we need to know about the front end? Because most of them will ask that question, because so I want to be a functional consultant. So why I just want to learn the front end? Because the front end is only for the end users, right? Yes. So yes, it is only for the end users, but you have a scope of knowing this particular end user part, because you need to give a training, right? Already in the implementation phase we have seen that, right? So in the UAT phase you need to give a proper end user training. If you are at least 80% aware of this end user part, then only you can at least deliver 50% to the users. That is what our agenda here. So you want to know both the front end and the back end. So then only you can easily map. One thing, you can able to give a proper training to the users. That is fine. And second thing is, you can able to properly map the configuration, means the back end versus front end, you can able to map it very easily, because the users will point out usually the front end part. So they don't aware of any back end part here. So you are responsible to find out what is the issues they are pointing out. So they will be pointing out the end user part. So you need to easily map what is the problem in the configuration, right? Yes. So this is the thing. So what we are going to have, so we are going to see the master data series for a couple of sessions. So let's get into that. The first thing what we are going to have is the metal master, most important master data in MM. Yes, because it's all about the material. So the entire metal management is working for a material, right? So ultimate our target is to bring the material to the factory. That is our target. So the metal master is so important. We are going to see that in detail. So including the front end versus the back end configuration. Let's get into it. Right. So regarding the master data, so the metal master we are just going to initiate here. So what is a metal master? Very simple. It contains all the information about all the material types. We have n number of material types we are available here. So for all the material types we are going to contain the information, just storing the information, that's it. So regarding the material, what are all the information we can able to store? So we can able to store that. So we have very huge list of data. We have huge data field selections here. So where we can able to map n number of fields in this two particular thing, because this metal master is going to contribute more on our business cycle. So for your better clarification, I just taken some most common material types. So we have many material types are available in this SAP here for the metal master. So in that we are taking so most common material type. If you take any industry, this material type will be common. So we are taking that. So it is starts with the raw material and semi-finished goods and a finished goods here. So raw material, semi-finished good and finished goods here. These are all the very common material types available in here. In any manufacturing center. In this, the raw material is the factor. The raw material is the type which we are going to use in MM. So most commonly, why? Because we are focusing on the raw material. Okay, we are focusing on the raw material. Why? Because we cannot able to purchase the semi-finished product. We will not purchase the semi-finished product because yes, we will do, but that is for one special case. Okay, I'll just explain you that in later. Okay, so we'll be seeing that in the subcontracting. We have a process called subcontracting. So that we will be using this semi-finished goods. Okay, yes. So finished goods we will not use because finished goods is only for selling the product, right? So it will be used only by the production and the sales people. Okay, also we can use this finished goods in terms of different angle. We can take it as a trading goods. Okay, we call it as trading goods. For an example, some company, what they will do, so they will buy a product from the vendor and they will store it, and again they will sell it to the customer without doing any changes. That kind of things is called as trading business. That is called as a trading goods. Okay, that is also equal to a finished product. Okay, right. But in that, most commonly what we are using in side is a raw material, because we are purchasing the raw material and we are giving to the production. Okay, that is what the ultimate aim of a guy. Okay, so we are focusing on this raw material here. Okay, so we can see this raw material, how to create and also how to configure this. So let's begin here. Right, yes. Okay, so let's get into that. Okay, so we can get into the system. So already I just mentioned T codes here. Okay, so I'll just mention the T codes already. So let me go for the workplace where I can able to mention here also. Okay, so regarding the master data, okay, so the metal master we are going to see. So there are three particular T codes here. Already we know about the transaction codes, right? So we have discussed about the transaction codes, everything. So now we are going to focus more on the transaction codes. Okay, yes. So the metal master, we have three T codes here. Okay, so we have to have three T codes. One is MM01, and second one MM02, and third one MM03. We have three T codes here. Okay, so in this MM01, so normally you can able to see the sequence of 1 to 3 here. There is a sequence of 1 to 3, right? 1, 2, 3 is a sequence. Like that, you can see the sequence of T codes in So very usually you can able to see the sequence of this T codes. Okay, if you see the sequence like 1, 2, 3, maybe it is 1, 2, 3 or 11, 12, or maybe 21, 22, 23 or 51, 52. So there are a lot of combinations is there. Anything comes under the sequence, so you can clearly understand. Okay, you can keep in your mind. So 1 is for creation. Okay, so 2 is for change, and 3 is for display. Okay, this is how you can have to remember the T codes. Okay, always 1 is for create, 2 is for change, and 3 is for display. This is how it will be taken up. Okay, for your better understanding. Okay, right. Now we are going to create a material. Okay, so we are going to create a material. Already we are defined. So we are going to discuss about the raw material, because this is the pure raw material. Okay, so it's a raw material which we are going to take that. Okay, if you have any doubts on the raw material, I'll just give you an example for your better clarification. Okay, so then we can get into that one system. You can see that for an example. Okay, so you can take, okay, for example, you can take that. For an example, you can take a car. Okay, you can take a car. Okay, so the car will be considered as the finished goods. Okay, it will be considered as a finished goods, right? Yes. Then you can see, for example, body of the car. Okay, so there are body of the car, right? So before we make a car, so we will do the body of the car and the frame and all these things, right? You can consider that is a semi-finished product. Okay, that is a semi-finished goods. Okay, because it's in semi-finished format, right? It is not completed. It is not a raw material, and it is not fully completed. It is semi-finished format. Okay, it's off completed. Okay, and final thing is, for an example, you can take for an example, tires. Okay, so tires. Okay, so you can take, okay, so tires, you can take it as a raw material. Okay, and also you can take engine. Okay, engine you can take it as raw material, because these all things, okay, this two part, okay, you can take this tires and this particular two things, right? These two things, okay, so I'm going to purchase directly from the vendor. So this body of the car and this car I will manufacture in my in-house. Okay, I have my in-house facility. I will manufacture in my own factory. Okay, so that is why it is finished product and semi-finished product. But this raw material, so this tires and engines, I cannot able to manufacture. I will purchase this from external thing. Okay, whatever I purchase from external thing without using this one, so that will be used by So we consider that as a raw material. Okay, so with this raw material only they can able to complete the semi-finished or finished product. For an example, if a car need to be manufactured, so that needs a tire and engine. Okay, without this we cannot able to do that one. So this only it is converting into a car. Okay, raw material only it is converting into a finished product. Okay, yes, for your understanding. Okay, so now we can get into the system. We can try to create a material. Okay, we can try to create a material. Okay, so this is the T code for creating that. We can try to create a material here. Okay, let's get into that system. Okay, okay, let's get into the system. Okay, see, still the favorites are there. Okay, always it will be there until you modify. Okay, yes. So now we are aware of all the T codes and all other things. Okay, we can slowly get into that. Okay, so now we have a T code that MM01, right? So let me get into that. So the T code is MM01 here, enter. Yes, you can see this is the initial page of creating a material. Okay, any material, it's not only the raw material, any material. Okay, so any material you want to create in the system, so you need to come here and you need to create that. Okay, so initially you can see some three options, right? You need to understand what is this three options. Okay, so there is a material, there is an industry, and there is a material type. What is this? You need to understand. Okay, just let me explain this. Then we have to go back to the configuration, because without configuring we should not work on this. Okay, let's see that. First one is a material. Okay, you can see it is empty. Okay, so I can able to do something. There is no drop down, there is nothing here. So this material, what they are mentioned is, it is all about the number range. Okay, how we are in the college, we will be having a roll number, and how we are working in a work office, so we'll be having a employee code, like, so why we are having that so naming conversion, a coding conversion, because to identify ourselves, right? So for identifying our uniqueness, so like that, for identifying a material, not only the description is important, there should be a unique number is important. Okay, maybe it's a number or it can be alphabet. Okay, whatever it can be. Okay, so that needs to be unique, so that is called this material. So here that should be coming. So what is a number range? All these things we need to discuss here. Okay, so coming for the first thing, number range. Okay, we have two type of number ranges here. Okay, for an example, let me explain that here. Okay, so we'll be having two type of number ranges. Okay, if you take a number ranges for a material, not only a material, it is common for everything. Whatever we do in this particular transaction, wherever the number is required, this number range is concept. Okay, is common. Okay, in number ranges you can see there are two type of number ranges. One is internal number range. Okay, and we have external number range. We have two type of number ranges here. Okay, in this, what is this internal number range? Okay, if you want internal number range, for an example, I can set some number 1000. Okay, so 219999 something. Okay, I can set an interval. This is an interval. Okay, I can set an interval from this number to this number. I can set an interval. Then what I can do is I can map. Okay, I can map this interval. Okay, to material type. Okay, I will just assign to a material type. So what is our material type? It is raw material. That's it. Very simple. Okay, so the raw material we will considering as a material type. So we will create one internal number range. Okay, from this number to this number, we are creating a number range here. Okay, and we are just assigning this to a material type. What will happen? Whenever I select this material type and create a material, automatically the number will come. That's it. The simple concept. Okay, because here you can see the selection of material type option is here. You can see the selection of material type option is here. For an example, I am selecting a raw material. Okay, this is a raw material in the sense I select this raw material in the sense, okay, automatically I need to get a number. So that number only we are assigning here as an internal number. So whenever I select this material type and create a material, I will get a number. Okay, so it will be a running number. For an example, if I create one material, it will be 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5. So it is a running number until you reach this end. Okay, so that's why we are given from number and to number. Okay, I hope it is clear, right? Yes. So this is an internal number range. Okay, yes. Coming to the second one, it's an external number range. Okay, so why we need an external number range? Already we have an internal is working perfectly, right? Because it is giving automation, it is an automatic number, all these things. So some customers, okay, so will not be accepting this internal number range. Why? Because it is only number is possible here. You can see only the numericals, right? you can see only the numerical. Certain companies will need some alpha numerical, for an example. So certain companies, they need something different. For an example, for raw material, they will say that RM, okay, 001, ISD 10 something. Okay, so they will have some kind of, okay, so some kind of logic, and they will be creating this. Maybe they are using, before coming into SAP, they might have any other ERP or any Excel or something. They have used this particular number ranges, and they are used to that. Okay, normally the people will be used to that. Okay, so the people, if suddenly you are asking to convert them to here, so the people will not adapt. That kind of people, we can give them option called external number range. Okay, so here in external number range, there is no restriction here. You can give alphabets and numericals. Means alpha numericals is possible here. Okay, but only one thing is, so this thing will not be automatic. This is a manual thing. Okay, same thing, whatever we do here, the same thing. Okay, the internal number range, we are assigning an interval, and we are assigning to a material type. Same thing in the external number range also, we are just making it and assigning to a material type. But here in the internal number range, the number will come automatically. We don't need to give it manually. But in external, what will happen is, you need to give the number manually. Whenever you create a material, you need to give that number manually. So that is the only disadvantage here. So even though that customers are ready to take this one, so they can take it. Okay, so you can just give a suggestion. Okay, so don't push any customers. Okay, normally. Okay, that is not a work of a consultant. Okay, so you should not push anyone. Just give your suggestion and just give the pros and cons of this. Okay, let them take it. Okay, if they are willing to take this external, they can take it. Okay, yes. So these are the number ranges we have in this particular system. This is not only for the material. So even in future, we are going to have in the business process, like purchase requisition, purchase order, agreement, contract, lot of things we are going to see. So these all things, this number range concept is common. If you understand one time how to do this configuration, because I am just going to take you to the configuration now. If you understand one time how to do this configuration, you can do it for any particular process. Not only for you can do it for any module also, because all the modules, this number range concept is common. Okay, yes. Okay, let's come back here. Okay, yes. Okay, now you can get a clear idea about this material, right? Yes. Next, coming for this industry sector, this is just a understanding. For an example, what type of industry you are using, that's it. Okay, it's not an impacting field, for an example. So it's not an impacting field. Okay, why I'm not saying impacting field is because I told you a business process, right? I told you a business process. What is that business process? See, our target, ultimately our target for a is, okay, a business process called P2P cycle. Okay, this is actually our target. So the P2P stands for, it is procurement to pay. Okay, this is actually the cycle. Okay, this is actually the cycle. So what we are all doing this for this case. Okay, we are all doing this for our case. Okay, this is actually our cycle. Okay, so procurement to pay. Okay, so from the procurement till the payment, we are going to see the entire cycle. That is the cycle of here. Okay, for matching this cycle, for making this cycle possible, so that is what we are doing, all these things. We are doing the enterprise structure, we are doing the master data, now everything to have this target to be successful. Okay, so always what we need to focus is, whatever I do, okay, so I need to focus on, okay, so whether it will impact my B2B cycle, because if anything I did wrongly, so that will impact my B2B cycle. That should be the target for us. Okay, as an consultant, okay, so I need to think about that perspective, that if I do something here, that will be impacting the P2P cycle or not. So that is what the thing I'm saying. So this particular field, you can see industry will not impact anything. This is just for an understanding. That's it. You can give anything you want, so that won't make any difference. Okay, the number range makes a difference, because the number, if it is wrong something, so it makes a difference here. Okay, so otherwise, so this industry will not make any difference here. Okay, so coming to the next one, you can see the material type here. So the material type makes a big difference, because this defines that which type of material you are going to create. I told you, right, there are n number of material types are available. So we are going to focus on the raw material, because focus on the raw material here. So we want to have a raw material here. So in standard, all the material types will be available in the system. In standard, all the material types will be available in the system. Okay, so if you want to take one material type, you can use that one. Okay, so even the raw material will have a standard material types, but you can see lot of raw materials are available here. It means, so they have copied and they have created a new material type. How in the enterprise structure we have just copied, right? So we just copied with one standard and we just created our customized one. Why we are doing like that? In the sense, very simple, because SAP has done so years and years of R&D to create all these systems and structures. Okay, so they have created a sample for everything. For an example, a sample for material type and everything, there is a sample they have given. Okay, so why they have given that, we need to take it as a reference. Okay, not to manipulate that. What the people will do is, normally they will use that standard and they will change all the standard setup and they will use it. But if they are facing some issues or problems in between the transaction, so there is nothing to refer, right? So they don't have anything to refer. Okay, there is nothing to refer. For an example, what is the use of a dictionary? Okay, if you have any doubts on this one, you will be referring. Okay, you will be referring in the dictionary, right? But if you are using that taking the dictionary and using something there means, then which one you will refer? Same thing here. Okay, so always as a consultant, we should not use the standard one. Always make a copy and use that. Okay, so then the original will be always for your reference. Okay, now before we start this material, now we got the clarity. So we need to have this number range to be configured, because without this number range I cannot start. So this number range to be configured, and second thing, I want to configure one material type for me. Even though it's a raw material, I can create my own raw material and I can use. So this material and this material type, this both the thing I want to configure, then only I can start this process. Okay, let's get into the configuration part. Let's do this first, then we can come back here. Okay, so that is the first target. Why I'm just making this as a target? In the sense, without a target, if you enter into the configuration, what will happen means the configuration will be like a maze. Okay, you cannot be able to convince that one. For an example, you can always be wandering here and there, you cannot be able to find a solution. So always have a target, just go there, approach the target and come back. Okay, this is how you need to do that. So now target is the number range for the material and the material type configuration. Okay, this is what we are going to do here. Okay, so let's start here. So I'll just open one more window. Okay, I think it is okay, so we need to re-log in here. Yes, we re-log in here. Okay, so we have a clear target now. So for just making a metal master, first just creating a metal master, we need these two things here. Okay, so let's have this number range and the material type here. That will be the first scope of here, so we need to create on this. So let's have this part. Okay, so now let's get into the configuration part. So already we have seen the configuration part, right? What is the T code? The same T code. See, whenever you want to go into the configuration part, you can go into the same T code. So you can get into SPRO. Okay, so get into the reference IMG, the same page. So instead of enterprise structure, you want to get into the metal master configuration and you have to do that. Okay, so you can ask that one. So why always I need to come with this path and all these things? Yes, so initially until you're familiar with all other things, you can go with this path. Even if you have a separate T code for that one also, every configuration also. How in the front end we have a T code, right? For the front end, every particular transaction we have a T code. So same like in the configuration also, we have a T code for each and every transaction. But that is not that much of easy to remember, because even in the front end you can easily understand that, because the people will be used to that. But in the configuration, there will be n number of T codes for each and every transaction. You cannot be able to identify that. Okay, so that will be difficult. So until you become an expert, or until you do one or two projects in this one, so always go with this path. Okay, that will be easy, you will not miss anything. Okay, yes. So now you can see the enterprise structure is already be completed. Now we are in the metal master here, so we need to configure. So now what everyone will be thinking that, okay, so we have our own folder, right? We have our own folder, so we will be getting into our folder and we can do our configuration. Okay, we will do our configuration, but in this folder we are not doing now. So that is the thing here. Okay, so we are not doing now here. So for an example, if you enter into this metal management, you will be having lot of options here. Okay, so I will just go into the purchasing for an example. There you will be having an option called metal master here. So if you think that this is the area where I'm going to do the metal master is, it is totally wrong. If you get into that, you don't have any configuration here. Okay, so these all things are something different. Okay, these all things are something different. You can see there is nothing related to them. There is no number range, there is no metal attributes, means metal types, there is nothing is there. See, so this is not the right page. So what we need to come here is, this is not the right page. So that is what, so it will be looks like a maze. Okay, so if you go into a wrong place, you will be wandering here and there, so you cannot go and approach that. So this is not the place. Okay, this is not the place. Okay, so what is the exact place is, so we are not going inside this metal management. Why? Because so how the plant, okay, for an example, we have taken a plant, right? The plant is how it is working as a common thing. Like that, this metal master also, it's common for everyone, right? It's not only the we are using the raw material. So the SFG is used by production. Okay, the FG is used by sales. So like that, different items, different type of items can be used by different departments. So again, it comes as a common area, right? It will comes under the common area. So if it is common, means again where we need to go. So on the plant where we have seen the common thing, it is in logistics general. Here also the common thing is logistics general. Okay, so get into the logistics general here. So there you can able to find the metal master. So here where you are going to do the entire configuration of metal master here. Okay, so be very clear about this one. Okay, so don't get into the maze, so again it will be a trouble. So just follow the instructions. If you want to practice that, just practice on the same flow, just 1 or 2 times, automatically you will be getting that. Okay, right. So this is all about this particular thing here. So if you get into this metal master here, click on this metal master. There you will be having an option called basic settings. Okay, you have a basic settings here. So get into the basic settings. Okay, initially it will be little bit tougher. So if you do that, you are just continuously do the hands-on 2-3 times, automatically will get it. Okay, right. So get into the basic settings. There you have an option called a material types here. See, you have a material type separately, you have an option, and if you click on this particular material type, automatically you will be getting that option. So now you can think about this. Okay, so the target, what we have the target, the first thing is number range, right? You can see here. Okay, define number range for each material type. It is self-explanatory. Okay, there is no need of any explanation. You can see it's a self-explanatory. So define number range for each material type, very clearly stated. Okay, and second thing is a material type. Right here you can see define attributes of material type. So you got this 2 target at the same place. Your work is easy, right? That's it. So if you have a target properly and come and search here properly, you will get it on spot. Okay, so without target, if you come, so you will be here and there, you will be wondering that is the thing. Okay, yes. So now our target is to have this particular thing. So we need to create a number range and we need to create our new material type. And what we need to do, so this number range we need to assign to this material type. Then only our initial work of a metal master will complete. Just the initial work. We have one more configurations and other configurations also there. I'll just show you that. But before that, okay, so this is the basic setup. Without this, we cannot able to go into the metal master. Okay, yes, I think so far you are clear about this. Okay, so until we reach this target here, okay, on the next session what we are going to have is, so we are going to have this detailed study about this one. Okay, how to create a number range and how to get into this attributes, how to map this together, and how to start creating the material, because we need to start creating the material and we have to see some more configurations which will be very interesting. We are going to see in the next session. Okay, let's meet in the next session. Okay, so it will be the continuation of metal master. Okay, let's continue there. Thank you.